Hi, this evening I'm going to be asking the question. I saw some articles about whether Stephen Miller is the Joseph Goebbels of World War II and the Nazis. I'm like, well, let's look into it. Because I've been tracking the parallels for a long time now. So, okay. So, I mean, here are all of my, the deep state that I've been doing. We're into the 20th presentation. Um, and this was the Stephen Miller speech at Charlie Kirk Memorial. And that's what started articles, whether he's the new, uh, if this is a Joseph Goebbels, uh, as accused by the woke left. So here, I mean, if anybody who's following me, the very, very few people in the world, I've been canceled by everybody. But I mean, my favorite is lately from Nicole King in Marbella. We'll be getting into Spain here. Was like, well, you're just one. She was my neighbor in Madrid when this whole thing started. Um, and she's bitching about problems in Spain, banking problems, legal issues. I'm like, excuse me, I've been working on that stuff for 18 years, and here you are bitching about it. Um, See, it's gonna bite you in the ass if you don't do anything. Anyway, she's like, well, you're just one person among so many of us who are all against you. I was just listening to Candace Owens about Freud. I'm like, yeah, we everybody in family court reform, we know all about Freud and how that crazy stuff been covering up the sexual abuse of children since the beginning. Um, so my focus has been on the influence of women. So that's really, and these are all of the different books that I have read. Well, over here, not all of the Reich stuff. I would like to read a lot of that. But you know, how we got here. Uh, so, um, there's just been a lot of propaganda when I've been looking into the rise of the Nazi Party, the rise of Hitler. Hitler was this great, monster, and of course he was a dictator, and he was, like no philanthrope. But you know, this is just part of the history of Europe. I mean, we had gone through, you had the 100 Wars, the 30-year wars, uh, the French Revolution, uh, the whole thing with the Jewish problem, as it was called. I mean, Joe Kennedy was even, I forget, there was some, comment him, the Jewish problem. And this was a discussion with the industrialist, um, in the rise to power of Hitler. And because they were in bed with it. And if it hadn't been for where's my book? It's the rise of the Fourth Reich. If it hadn't been for all of the American industrialists, uh, the Third Reich wouldn't have risen. Um, the Third Reich was a backlash of the what went on after World War I, and World War I was just here. They have it even here. You had the 48ers, where Europeans who participated in support of the revolutions of 1848 that swept Europe. So, like, we can go back and forth throughout history, and we just keep on repeating itself. So, you know, the Jewish problem, it wasn't, well, it's two, because it's not with the money lenders, the Christians, the Catholics, they couldn't lend money. So the Jews took on that they were allowed to, they could lend money, excuse me, they couldn't lend money and charge interest rates. So that's how the Jews kind of cornered the market on the financial markets and banking systems. So that's a historical fact. But also, then you combine it with the Jewish population. They didn't, this is why Israel was supposed to be the solution. They have a nation for them, and you know, a sense of nationality, because they were these scattered people, and that just kept on getting, you know, displaced. They they would make money when in the boom economies, but when things would go bust, they would be used as the scapegoats, and you know, get rid of them, get rid of them. It's their fault. It's their fault. Where it was everybody's fault. Either overspending, over indebtedness. It just repeats and repeats and repeats itself. Um, Particularly when you went off barter economies, and as you got into the industrial revolution, and really complex economies, rather than just, you know, baking bread and killing beef, you know, the more than just the village.